We're live?
Yep.
Ceej.
Grand.
This is CJ Cicadas. I'm Andrew Crandall. Welcome.
Welcome.
So, CJ is a person who has been impacted by COVID very strongly, and he is unemployed because of it. What's that like?
Well, very unexpected. You know, I had a very regular job and had a very normal schedule. Until,
What did you do again?
I worked at a medical record analysis facility, and I would review medical records and go over patients' files to make sure that the providers or the doctors, whoever was performing procedures, coded things correctly and made note of those and sent us.
So you were a numbers guy.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I would read through thousands of pages of documents a day, and
Was it boring?
I mean, it's work. You know, it wasn't
You were
like
at home.
exciting. Yeah, I mean, I get to work from home doing it, and
So we're like petting your dog all day, just like working?
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
it was a great job. And then, you know, obviously things started to ramp up, and people started getting like sick, not only in hot spots like New York and bigger cities. It turned out like Birmingham started blowing up with it too, and eventually our office just like kind of got the cut. And so one day I was being told that morning what I needed to do for the day, and an hour and a half after I got an email saying it wasn't employed anymore. So
Okay, wow. When you're working at home, how do they know that you're actually like clock? Do you have to like clock in on the computer?
yeah, I mean, they had ways of keeping track of that. Like, we had a program that was kind of like an instant messenger, and your status, you know, would show you've been active for a certain amount of time. Like, as in, you know, you didn't really, it wouldn't know that you're doing work, but it would know if you're moving your mouse and typing, and you're at the computer at least.
Whoa.
You know, if they wanted to, they could remote desktop into your computer and see what you're doing. And they can tell because they put people's progress for the day up on a board so everybody can see how everybody's doing. So it's not like you could kind of just slack off and not do anything for the day. You know, it was...
Would you have like YouTube videos in the background?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, nothing would stop me from having like my own entertainment going on, because like all I'd be doing is skimming through stuff, looking for names and like diagnoses, stuff like that, specialties of doctors.
What about RuneScape?
Oh, absolutely. I played video games like every day while I was doing this, and not that it like hindered my job performance.
Did they ever catch you?
I mean, they didn't want us to do that, but they knew that we were doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, they told us to refrain, but they never like told us like, if you keep doing that, like, you're fired.
Yeah. Dang, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really awesome job.
So you'd have Scape open on the same computer?
Yeah, like I had two screens. One would have like internet, RuneScape, and the other would have like the program that we use to like go through the records, and then like a Excel file that I would enter in all the data.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sounds kind of like, just like the desk job is so monotonous, and it's just like so fucking boring. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like the definition of a desk job. You basically...
What's the term? The rat races?
I mean, people call it the rat race, yeah. I mean, or racing the clock, you know, like working for the weekend, that type of deal. Just you do the same thing over and over and over again, just Monday through Friday, and you wait for the weekend to have your real fun. But, you know, we made the best of it, and we'd actually jump in Discord and talk to each other and just, like, be able to, like, talk throughout the day, like, and communicate. That way, like, if we had some, like, crazy shit going on or some drama, you know, we could kind of, like, keep tabs with each other and just be able to hear each other. You know?
That sounds cool.
Yeah, like, it was a good deal.
Okay, so do you feel safe in today's climate going back to work?
Going back to work, I think they put enough measures into place in, I would say, if not 100%, at least 98 to 99% of workplaces that keep the workers safe. Like, you know, there's regular temperature checks. There's like people that require you to wear masks, you know, things like that. And I would say I feel safe.
Okay.
Unless I'm around somebody who's definitely sick or infected with COVID and like is not using any sort of personal protective equipment.
Honestly, I don't really feel safe, but I work at Domino's and I don't feel safe because people will call in like probably once a month and be like, someone at our store had COVID, and then we're just like,
that's something that would make me feel unsafe. Like it depends on the frequency of that. Like if it's once every like 3 or 4 months, like that's different. Still would worry me, like make me go get tested and like make me freak out a little bit until I knew like I was good. But
honestly, I don't think anybody should be working, and we should just have universal base income. That's what I honestly think.
I don't think that that's a bad idea for right now. Until this gets figured out and until they have like a true efficacy report on this like vaccine that they're coming up with. I mean, there's like 4 major companies. There's Pfizer's that is proven to be 90% or more accurate. I loosely quote that because I'm not too sure. That's based off of trial runs, you know. And there's a couple of other smaller companies that all have gotten contracts through, what was it, Operation Warp Speed with Trump.
Warp Speed.
Yeah, he poured $1.6 billion into a contract with a German a German company that had no real track record before, and they had done DNA work, and they were the ones that kind of frontiered the whole mRNA treatment. But Pfizer got a $1.9 billion contract with the government to be able to produce 100 million units by sometime in the spring and deliver those units effectively.
So how do you feel? So do you think that was a good move by Trump?
I think that he has made, he's made several good moves.
It sounded like you were advocating for him right there. Maybe you weren't, but
no, like he's made several good moves, but
it's cool if you want to advocate. I'm just
listen,
saying what it sounded like.
I know that sounds like that, but he's made several good moves. I think, from a financial standpoint, he's backing the wrong people. I think that from a scientific standpoint, we don't know how something that modifies genes inside of people to make us become immune to something, we don't know how it's going to affect us 10, 20 years from now. We don't know if we're going to have children that are born with birth defects. We don't know if we'll inherently have some sort of genetic mutations in ourselves that we'll see in our lifetime. So I don't think that making that happen quicker is going to benefit anybody in any other way except making certain people feel safe because there's a vaccine that's effective.
Would you take the vaccine if it came out?
No, I would rather not. And if I'm not forced to, if I'm not held down with a ball and chain, I will not.
I heard on a podcast, do you know who H3 is? I think it was H3. Do you know who H3 is? The YouTuber who made a podcast?
Yeah, I do.
I think they were talking about how they have a vaccine that would be 95% accurate or something, or 95% positive results. They did a clinical study on some recent vaccine. It was 95% good across the board. No crazy third arm shit, no crazy mutated breath or something, but with the vaccine, most of the time vaccines are sketchy because it's a lot of the researchers are underfunded and the vaccines are not prioritized. So a lot of times when vaccine studies and new vaccines come out, it's super sketchy because you have a super half-assed ordeal going on. But I guess the point that they make with the COVID thing is that there's never been a point in time where we have prioritized a vaccine this much and funded it to this extent. So, I guess what they were saying is, if there ever were to be a vaccine that would be okay to take round 1 or maybe round 2, it would probably be this one, just because of how much resources have gone into it. Does that change your mind? Or no?
The only thing I have to say on that is, I mean, I can't say financially because I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know personally, like I had 2 grandparents that both had polio, right? They were born...
What?
Yeah, but on my mom's side,
Fix that toy situation. Sorry guys, we got a dog playing with a squeaky toy.
But yeah, on my mom's side, her mother and her father both had polio.
Wait, is that the thing where you're in the cryo chamber for the rest of your life? Like that shit?
Some people got put on iron lungs. Some people did. They fortunately just slowly lost bone mass in most of their body and
no iron lung.
No iron lung. No. So my grandmother got it when she was 3, and she actually won a car in the March of Dimes, and I think it was like 1942 or 1941.
Won a car?
Won a car, yeah.
In the what?
March of Dimes.
What is that?
So like a charity benefit where people would like walk for, you know, like people being treated for whatever, and I think that cause that year was for polio. And my grandfather, he was fine until he was about 12. And, you know, he had lived most of his life being able to walk and run and play with his brothers, and when he was 12, he lost his ability to walk. You know? And so when that vaccine came out, I think the priority to get that out was on par with something like this in a different way. Because that was much more so crippling people rather than making them ill to the point where they're on ventilators. Yes, like an iron lung is a ventilator in a sense, and I could see the similarities between that, but I think that's the only other historical example I can give of expedition.
Oh, it's a pretty big deal.
On vaccines, to be
pretty much the core argument for vaccines is the polio disease.
I mean, that's
like when you think about vaccines, you're like, okay, risk polio. Vaccine, like it's like the vaccine is way worth the fucking risk. Like
like you would take that. I would take that. I got the vaccine when I was, you know, you get that when you're born.
You've never had COVID, right?
Never have had COVID. No.
Didn't you test positive for like part of COVID or some bullshit? Like what was that?
No.
You tested for the antibodies?
No, I got. I had the flu and got a negative test for COVID. But I had a positive strep and had the flu.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Okay, never mind.
No, that was a whole bunch of bullshit. That was like
drama?
Yes, that was drama, and I was hearing it from everybody, including somebody's lady. But you know, that is what it is. But no, I know plenty of people who have tested positive for it. You know. And they seem to be doing all right now. But then I've also seen people who have tested positive for it who are in the hospital still, like months later.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So like, it's a very unknown how it's going to affect somebody on a person-to-person basis.
Okay, so we kind of like got on this vaccine thing, which was dope because it was interesting. But I want to go back to the Trump thing. Mm-hmm. So, do you like Trump? First of all, I'll have a couple of questions in my head, but let's just establish a base. Do you overall, not do you like his personality, and he's not president anymore, but did you like his presidency?
I think that he made certain moves during his presidency that benefited us, such as looking at the numbers of unemployment in the stock market. I think those are 2 great examples of things that he had done great.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, nobody's really arguing that also. Like, you know, I mean, I think, like, you always have crazy people who are like, it's a sham, it wasn't Trump, really. But, like, for the most part, I think it's pretty obvious that the economy did all right until COVID.
Right, and he put trade practices in that prevented us from outsourcing materials from places like China or, you know, other countries, and started making those domestic investments again. So he invested into America. I can say he did well there.
No, that's a good fucking point. The fact that he redirected manufacturership, like if that's a word, from
Manufacturer, yeah.
like we used to get everything from China and like all these other countries, and then now we kind of have this more he pushed the ideology of like manufacturing American made stuff more.
Yeah.
And the idea is slowly becoming more and more popular, and I'll give him credit for that too. Like that he was a big proprietor of that. I think he did go a little too far in that and would be like starting to say some borderline racist shit. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, he
calls it the China virus.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Come on.
Like, okay, did you know, this is fucking true. Did you know every time Trump referred to Corona as the China virus,
or Kung Flu.
Kung Flu was one of the names being tossed around, but every time he referred to it as the China virus, violence toward Asian Americans would statistically rise. Did you know that?
I mean, I did not know that, but I can see how that would definitely result in that statistic.
And it's that kind of dialogue that he has that people don't think is problematic or don't understand is problematic. And so while he's doing some good stuff, like he's like, we need to focus on American-made products. We need to like avoid war, but like stand our ground at the same time. He's got like these good basic ideas, but then he'll say some crazy shit in the middle of all that, and you're like, why, dude? All you had to not say was China virus. All you had to say was coronavirus.
Yes.
That's all he had to say, and it would have looked like eons better. But he had to take some like weird racial route, directing the hate and the anger of coronavirus right into Asian Americans' lives.
If you look at the base of people that he appeals to, I think that's a tactic that really polarizes them towards him.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And also, it goes along with his narrative of banning China. He said, I banned China. You know, he blocked off trade routes, he blocked off travel, you know, and he did a lot of things that prevented that from happening. Now, that all just stacks onto what you just said, you know, China virus. Okay, well, I banned China from doing this, I banned China from doing that. It shows that he clearly has a bias against China, or at least, you know, I would say Asian people, like, in general.
Like, okay, if he were to specifically say it's a government from the China, it's a virus from the Chinese government, that would be, like, a lot better. Because it's like, okay, now we're not talking about Chinese people.
Government.
Exactly. We're not talking about all Chinese people. We're talking about, like, people who live in China who are clearly communists and are responsible for the virus. It's like, we've narrowed it down drastically just by a couple extra words. Like,
plug and play here.
And then, like, he doesn't have people... Okay, like, I'm sure you've heard people say, how could they let him go on these Twitter rants? Like, isn't someone there to stop him or coach him or help him? I have always said this. He has never had someone to actually know what to do. Like, people always assume that people around him could coach him, but just don't, and he just Trump and bullies his way through to do whatever he wants. I just personally think he didn't also surround himself. I think he surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men.
Of course.
Directly. Now, there's people who work for him who obviously are respectable. There's this one lady who I always forget her name, but for the longest time she would get roasted after all the press conferences and like, handle him like a boss.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Like, there was people that worked for him that were legitimate, but he just, like, I think in his direct circle, he just had a bunch of yes men, and he had a bunch of dopes like Mike Pence, who are also super conservative, and just really fucking stubborn, and old men, white men. It's just like, I think the people around him were like, that's some good shit to tweet. And so you just be like, cool. Like, I don't actually think he ever had that, like...
No, he didn't have that voice saying, hey, maybe you should pull that one back. Maybe you should take that down a couple notches. I don't think he has anybody that either had the...
Not in his direct circle, at least.
Yeah, not in his direct circle, but he didn't have anybody just like in general, there for him to be like, you need to pull the punches a little bit.
Yeah.
And everybody just let him run free. So he did, and Twitter was his main platform. You know,
and it's cool. It's cool because on one side you're like, Trump is literally like, he's like the anti-hero in a way. Like, he calls out the director of the FBI and gets in like arguments with him on the reg. So it's like okay, that's pretty cool. Like, nobody's like gonna like, he's not a fucking puppet by any means for any agenda other than his. Yeah. Like, so that is
nobody's
cool.
Controlling him.
Nobody.
That's something we can be sure of. Nobody's pulling his strings.
And that was why I think he won the first place. It was just this refreshing thing. It was just that he was so problematic as a person. Like, it would have been super dope if we had non-puppet person running country who just basically was kind of the opposite of Trump's personality. Like, we needed like a calm, rational, science-believing guy who like wasn't racist or divisive so much. It's fine that he's polarizing. It's not actually that bad. What's bad is that he's polarizing, he embraces his polarization, and fuels hatred. That is the problem.
Right.
The cycle of divisiveness grows and grows as Trump.
The people that are pulled into him are also pulled into his mindset and start to think that way as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I heard this on Joe Rogan. They were talking about how people get married to their ideas, right? So, like, if you said something I didn't agree with, I would be like, well, I would start to think, like, I'm better than you or worse than you based on our disagreements. So, but it's not that personal. I think that Trump does that, and his followers do the exact same thing. He takes shit super personal, and he gets married to all his ideas. So if you try to disagree with him, he just thinks you're dumb or you're below him if you disagree with him. And the left does that shit too. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody does that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, okay? Like, this is a super common thing to do. But it's just, like, it just ties into what you're saying about how people get in that same mindset as him. And they get married to the ideas that he married to as well. And it's like a never-ending cycle of people just being like, if you can't see this, you're just a leftist mutant lizard. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like I see people on Facebook and social media talking about like, Nancy Pelosi's gonna take your AK-47 and paralyze you for life with her eyes or something, like acting like she's some sort of wizard or witch or whatever.
Well, everybody really focused on the one interview she had where they were asking about how she was going to go along with the impeachment, and she said, I think, I'm going to loosely quote this, but there are a lot of arrows left in our quiver, and we're going to use them. And like saying, we have plenty of ways left to deal with this man. And, when people heard that, it was the polarization. It's the people that were for Trump.
She had a famous interview like that?
You can pull up the clip like any time. Yeah, just type in Nancy Pelosi, more arrows in our quiver, and it'll be like the first thing you see. And
that's one of the things I need to add to this scene is just like a computer that we can watch it on.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that, but there's no good way to do it with the setup we have. But okay, I'll just take your word for it. I don't want to look it up on my own.
No,
you know what I mean?
But yeah, basically what happened as a result of that is you had the people for Trump saying, oh, well, she's a dirty, crooked, whatever, insult here. But there really was no evidence to back that she was going to do anything illegal or out of the range of her powers to exercise what she was doing. Now, on the other hand, the people that were against Trump were thinking, okay, well, then we have the answer. We have exactly what's going to take him down and pin him out of this, and we've won. He's gone. He's not going to be president anymore. He's going to be impeached.
Okay.
And I think that a majority of those people don't understand how impeachment works.
Oh, for sure not.
Because it's not as simple as, okay, you're done. You're out.
they like technically impeached him for like a day and then it reversed.
Yeah, well, he had been impeached, but being impeached does not mean that you necessarily are thrown out of office that second. There's like many more steps to the process after you were being.
Well, he didn't leave office.
No,
he
never did. He stayed and he's filled out his term, as you can see. So like people got the wrong idea and got way excited about something that came out of one statement that she made in an interview. That's basically what I'm getting at. And then other people got super defensive and they're just. That's what I hate about this whole left-right thing. Is there's too much back and forth on who they're backing, and there's really not a whole group of people concentrating on what exactly is best for all of those people included.
Like, also, I love how people will, strong conservatives will attack people on the left who are like famous somewhat or like popular politician people like Nancy Pelosi, and they'll kind of assume that people on the left are like supporting her or agree with her, and it's like, dude, like I don't know a single person left or right who thinks like we should just like keep having Nancy Pelosi around. Like everywhere I look, everyone fucking hates her. And then on the left, people assume that everyone supports all the right-wing people, and it's like, that's not true either.
Yeah,
like,
everybody thinks that if you're on the right side of things, that, like, Ben Shapiro is your idol.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, it doesn't have to be that way, and it most certainly is not that way in most cases.
Did you see Ben Shapiro talking about how wet pussy was a disease and needed treatment?
He got it. Yeah, he had went over WAP and actually like broke it down with his wife.
Wet ass P word.
Yeah. He said that his wife diagnosed that as vaginal hyperhidrosis.
Yeah, I guess what he was going for. Yeah. Let me just say this. I don't. It seems like everyone missed this part of that joke. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me break this down. The narrative is that Ben Shapiro said that wet pussy was a disease. So everyone made fun of him because they're like, you don't know what wet pussy is. But in his defense, he was talking about not wet pussy, but wet pussy that creates so much fluid that you need a bucket and a mop to clean it up with. That is what he was technically referencing.
He was quoting the context of
it. So that was the joke in his defense. So you can't just say he doesn't know what wet pussy is, but it's still a hilarious joke. It's still good. It's still good. I'm just saying that everyone seemed to like take that out of context, because I heard people talking about it for reals, like on a serious spin, and they were like, "How does he not know that?" And I'm like, "Okay." On a serious spin,
there is something comical about this that he's trying to achieve, and it's not that he's ignorant to the point that he doesn't understand what this is.
Exactly. Like, he was, like, talking about the bucket and the mop and all the excessive shit. But still, it's hilarious that he doesn't know what pussy is.
Yeah, that was a whole nother thing. I never saw that.
Did you ever see him talking about rap?
About rap? Like,
he has, like, a famous interview. It went pretty viral. Like, he has a famous interview where he's talking about rap, and they're, I don't know who he's with, I can't remember. I think it was a rapper or someone in the hip-hop field, maybe, but he was like, alright, my father went to music school and told me that music has to have 3 elements, and it was like rhythm, tempo, and melody, and rap doesn't have one or something. He made like this whole case against rap, and it was like, dude, you are out of your mind. Stick to your lane. Holy shit. Like, he does... When he starts talking about shit he does not know about, he sounds so fucking stupid, though.
I know it may sound stupid, but he is correct that in a classical definition of music and not a modern one, a form of music would have to require those 3 attributes. If not, it wouldn't be considered that.
Yes, he is correct that is a classical standard definition of what music is, but the whole thing the whole reason it went viral is because he's clearly using outdated knowledge and talking about something he has no idea about. Like, if you can't understand that hip hop and rap is a music genre that's legitimate, then like I'm not sure what to tell you, but you might need to just like look up some things because like
it's all around you.
Because like between R&B, hip hop, and rap, you have so much different melody and so many different types of songs nowadays. Like, look at Young Thug. That's considered hip hop. Yeah. That is fucking very musical. Like, very musical.
And that all stemmed from jazz.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally jazz.
Oh, jazz? I thought it was rock.
Rock and jazz created what is hip hop and R&B today.
Okay, isn't this true that back in the Dizzy, black people played rock, then Elvis like took it from black people?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? I thought that was the case.
He was the king of rock and roll, but before him, there were many African American artists
who didn't get the credit they deserved.
Yes, they were completely, had their valor stolen in that sense.
Yeah, okay. He was the. It's like when people say it was funny. It's like when people say Babe Ruth was like the best baseball player ever. It's like, yeah, because he played before black people could play. It's like, yeah, maybe he was the best white person ever, but they're a bunch of racist assholes out there excluding like 70% of what the league is today. It's like insane when you think about it. Yeah. Like Babe Ruth, like Babe Ruth.
Jackie Robins.
Yeah, I think it was that movie. Dude, it was a badass movie I saw about this black baseball player who went through like all the racial shit.
It was probably the Jackie Robins movie. Okay. Like, I don't know. It's not self-titled.
Is it Jackie Robinson or Jackie Robinson? I think it's Robinson.
Is it Jackie Robinson?
I think it's Robinson.
But you get.
And his number got like you can't wear his number anymore. Right. It's like 42 or something.
Yeah, he's special in that aspect. Like, he put a huge historical dent in the game as we know it.
Yeah, he's like way better than fucking Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth would have been better than average, just like Elvis was obviously a better than average musician. So you don't necessarily want to like yank it all away, but you just like, it's like, okay, when you get the full context, it kind of makes you appreciate it less in a way. Because you're like, it's alright.
But there's many more examples I can think of. Like even Michael Jordan, he was a 3-time professional sport athlete. Like basketball, baseball, and golf as well.
Did he play golf?
Yeah, he golfed all the time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I did not know he played golf. Are you sure?
Yeah, you can look it up. I absolutely promise you that.
Damn. Professional golf?
Mm-hmm.
Was he good?
I don't know how great he was. I know that he played professional. He played for the Birmingham Barons too, as well.
I knew that actually. I did know that.
Yeah.
Wait, golf or baseball?
Baseball, minor leagues, I think.
Oh, okay.
And
did he play professional baseball?
Yeah, he played MLB, but he started off.
Wasn't he bad at baseball?
Barons. I mean, dude, when you play 3 sports, you gotta pick one. You're gonna be the best at. You can't be the best.
Was he actually bad, or was he bad for Michael Jordan? That's what I want to know.
He was probably less than what people would expect for Michael Jordan. If I had to.
Like, I wonder if like he was actually decent at baseball. You know, Kobe Bryant played soccer. Like, he didn't play like legitimate soccer, but he always said that soccer was like. Okay, hold on. I remember watching this like whole documentary on YouTube about him like a long time ago, and my friend Gunnar was obsessed, or probably is still obsessed with him, and I just remember watching this whole video where he could like juggle the soccer ball like 80 times in a row or some shit, and he was like crazy good. Like he would play soccer in his spare time when he just was done with basketball stuff, because he said He said it was like a division. Like, he loved both sports, and he just ended up picking one. But he was a baller at soccer, too. It's just like LeBron was really good at football in, like, high school. His, like, high school tapes, LeBron, he's, like, insane. He's, like,
football?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it was a running back. Like, I just remember watching him score, like, so many touchdowns in this highlight reel. And he was, like, way bigger than everyone else. Like, obviously, way bigger.
Massive.
He was so huge. He was like 6'7", and he's like 250, and he moves like so fast.
Yeah, there's only like a handful of people that are taller than him.
Yeah, for real. Like, and most of them have like diseases where they can't like function. Yeah. Like when you get that tall, you can't even like walk right.
You can't go through a doorway when you're that tall.
I saw this video. I follow this Instagram account. It's like a basketball thing. And there's like this 7'8" kid. They call him like the praying mantis because he's like so thin, but he's so tall, and he's just like almost level with the basketball goal. Like, dude, yes, it's weird.
Shopping cart.
Like, he barely has to jump to dunk. Like, barely.
Probably doesn't have to, like, really. You just tiptoe it, kind of.
No, like, he's that tall, he doesn't actually have to. I'm thinking about it. But, like, against the defender...
What's the height of a regulation size rim?
10 feet?
If your head is 7'8", you have to assume that you have at least...
But over a defender, he normally has to jump a little.
Over a defender, yeah, that's different. I'm saying just like...
But, like, okay, just sitting there, no one, and not in a game, I don't think he would have to jump at all, no.
Yeah.
I've never seen him do that, now that I'm thinking about it. But his arms definitely go
above.
above.
See, your arm adds an additional however much, you know, I mean, that's at least 3 feet.
Honestly, though, I've never dunked, so I'm thinking about it, like, do you need that extra space to, like, kind of curve it in there? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you just drop it in. I've never dunked, so... You've never dunked.
Yeah, I'm definitely not tall enough to dunk.
Are you okay, cameraman?
I'm a woman.
Wow.
CJ said that you do have this crazy steady hand, though. Like you're like a moving tripod
from
stand.
your previous work, you have a crazy tripod hand. You have the most calm... Now you're going to shake because you're laughing. But yeah, no, when I watched the last video, I was like, did you get like a gimbal for this?
Yeah, it was impressive.
Really smooth. Anyway.
But, anyways, yeah, so I guess we could just wrap it up. If you ever want to come back and chat, just let me know.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to introduce you on the channel, and I'm going to upload this, and we'll just see where it goes. I'm just going to keep having people, I'm just going to keep meeting in different places, talking to people. I'm going to edit these videos as time goes on and make it better, but I just wanted to start instead of just talk about it.
Yeah, dude. Doing it's the first half. I'm glad I could be on.
Yeah, you're a very smart, cool guy, so definitely appreciate your time.
Appreciate you saying it. I appreciate you having me.
You're the GOAT. But yeah, that's it for now, and we will see you guys later.